Hola, acordar recordar. ¿Qué hace escuchar? Acordar recordar. ¿Qué hace escuchar? Today, welcome back to Learning Language. Literally, what do you hear? ¿Qué hace escuchar? What do you hear? There's a sentence, right? There's a conjugated verb. Hace, you, what, you, escuchar, infinitive verb. No ing, no to. What do you hear? I don't know. Literally, semantically, we're going to explore these two verbs, a bunch of other just nuances. Right, de acuerdo. People say it's agreement. Type that into Google, say agreement. Look it up in the dictionary, it says agreement. I'm not convinced. So we'll just be talking about verbs, and again, just more structured linguistics, literally talking about verbs and sentence structure and other stuff. But what do these words mean? Again, we'll just do more translations. First thing off, not exactly sure how you read the little numbers in the dictionary. Like if I look up Acordar, Mi Diccionario, there's a little 2 above it, not sure what that means. And if you're looking at the screen, the way I'm going to start doing these is anytime the translation, any arrow, the D, dictionary, G, Google, M, me, and I'll just talk about if there's anything semantic or any nuanced things. Again, first off, just a correccione from last episode. I had mirar with 2 R's, dos, ers, no, just 1, uno, er. But just reading the conjugations for acordar, yo acuerdo, tú acuerdas, él, ella, usted acuerda, nosotros acordamos, vosotros And now, days. I want to say that it's days. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that at all. I don't know. Let me type it in real quick. I do not like this pronunciation. Right? If I started backwards, I in Spanish and Espanol, todo. Is. A with the accent, is. Ais. Acordais, deis. Now here's how it's pronounced.
Acordáis.
Dice. Dice. A with the accent, es. Ice. I don't know where that comes from historically. That's a strange pronunciation to me in Spanish. Like if I was trying to read that again, is, ice, dice. That's how I would say it. But that's just a note. But right, de acuerdo, very common phrase, and people will say from agreement or of agreement. And again, even I said most of the time from or of is very clear to me. I'm not sure what these verbs mean. Look up acordar in the dictionary. Have that little 4. I don't know what that means. But then have in bold, dash, n. So again, that's a phrase itself in the dictionary, but it says to arrange to. And literally, to me, it strikes me as accordance, right? De acuerdo. We're in agreement. Accordance is agreement. If we're of accord, we're in accord. That's again in accordance, that's agreement. So that's structurally, linguistically, like the form of the word. Semantically, people say agreement. I'm much more attenuating to accordance. But then people will also say acordarse, right? And just any reflexive verb. Is this the result of correct or incorrect grammar? I'm very, very confident, 85% confident that any reflexive verb is just reflecting, again, poor structured grammar earlier in the sentence or earlier in the paragraph. But now we can also state just randomly, well, not randomly, but last episode we talked about direct objects a lot. And I just realized that you call direct objects reflexive pronouns. All reflexive pronouns are direct objects. What is a direct object? The thing that receives the action of the verb. What is a reflexive pronoun? It indicates who's receiving the action of the verb. So all reflexive pronouns are direct objects. and we've demonstrated that it's not a unique linguistic differentiation. But again, just dime de acuerdo. Okay, so let's use another, again, empirical example. Bad Bunny, baby. Dime si te acuerdas. Listened to the song a bunch, sang the song a bunch myself. Semantically, that dime si, clearly tell me if, te acuerdas, present tense, direct object, conjugation, you remember. But if I look up remember in the dictionary, it says recordar. And in English, right, we've talked extensively about preposition re, clearly meaning to do again. And then if I look up recordar in the dictionary, again I get that little to, which I'm not sure what it means. And then it says in parentheses acordarse, and then it says to remember, to recollect, to recall. Then it says hacer acordar. Other note, hacer, to make? No, it was sometimes. Default, hacer, doing. Total, doing. Am I making a YouTube or am I doing a YouTube? When I get excited and talk to myself, just excited to do a video, I say do YouTubes like a 3-year-old. The first iteration of hacer is always do. Always default to do, and again, if make in English is just a nuanced differentiation, but hacer, default to do, and again, that's on the structure, that's how people teach it. But that's the first verb you say as a fucking English speaker to generate a function, to get something done, to do work, do something, bro. But so that's just another example. And then te acuerdas, right? Tell me if you agree, right? That semantically doesn't make any sense. Tell me if you remember. That's what Google says. That's what I hear. That's what I'm assuming what Bad Bunny means, and I'm sure he didn't type. Tell me if you are of accordance. So that's not exactly one-to-one semantically in English. Again, clearly the infinitive verb is clearly the same form of accord. In English, chord with one C is clearly a string. Chord with an H is clearly multiple strings. So, de acuerdo. Yo no sé. But again, clearly even in Spanish, right, as I look up remember, we just went through that, but the re and the a, clearly a is like, in Spanish, to do something. You have to do something first before you can redo something, and the only difference in the verbs is literally the first, in the prefix. So how do prefixes and suffixes not vary amongst language? Right, they still have the function I don't have any examples, but ente or alidad, li, frequently, I know I don't know that many words. I don't claim to know that many words. I know the structure and the logic. I'll try to start speaking more. I just, again, can't go to university. I'm trying to actively interact with people. Oh, you solved math, Brad. Just sit there and wait, buddy. While you get harassed at your home. But clearly there's, and then we can say, what definitive statements can we state about word order, context, and function, right? I read in this dictionary basically saying, again, if you're looking what word order produces a verb, a noun, a whatever. But now we can reclassify how we talk about linguistics, right? Last time I said nouns go to objectives, so we have objectives, subjects, nouns, adjectives, way more linguistically consistent, direct objectives, direct objects, verbs, and adverbs. Objects, subjects, how are those subjects descriptors, adjectives, verbs describe subject action, direct objects receive the subject action, and adverbs describe how this direct object receives the subject's action. It's a complete categorization of language. And now we can state objectives are subjects. Context is subjectives. Or context is subjective. Perspective is subjective. To subject is to expose. So those are the things I wanted to cover. And again, it's not clear to me what acordar or recordar really means. And so this is an exposition. This is exploration of the Spanish verbs acordar and recordar. Thank you for watching Learning Language. I'll do some more cognados, falsos, and also do another, what was the other thing I wanted to do? Sorry, I really like doing these things off the top of my head. But modissimos verbales. What does that translate to? Idiomatic verb expressions. No. Modes of verbs. So thank you for watching Learning Language, and check back for more.